Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Oliveda. On behalf of the Austin History Center and its partner, the citizen-based nonprofit Austin History Center Association, I'm pleased to extend a big Texas welcome to all of you joining us online from throughout the world for the 2021 Angelina Eberly virtual event. We are coming to you from Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Last year, we saw Act 1, where Angelina fired the cannon on New Year's Eve and saved the day. Let's now raise the curtain on Act 2 of our Austin story, set in the Wild West atmosphere of Austin in the 1870s. From noted playwright Paulette McDougall and interpretive historian Ted Lee Eubanks, let's hearken back to an earlier time and meet some of the real characters of our city, bringing to life what might have been. Please remain in your seats during this performance.
Our first train came to Austin in December 1871. There was no train service for miles around, so people were excited to catch the first glimpse of the engine as it chugged in. The crowd waited by the tracks here on Pine Street, later to be called 5th Street. Another group waited up the hill by St. David's Church. Our other streets were almost deserted except East Avenue, which someday will be known as Highway 35. Over there, young men stood ready to shoot off the cannon the moment the train arrives. Today, the occasion of our first train's grand entrance, the train was late. It rained. The crowds were cold. But late or not, this train changed everything. All aboard?
Hey, strangers, you must be newcomers. Welcome to Austin. Good day, sir. I'm Alexander Sweet, reporter for the Democrat Statesman. Hello, are you new to Austin? Nice to meet you. Anyway, Austin used to be a nice, friendly little backwater, podunk kind of cowtown. I liked it that way. In those days, big news was a baby boy or the annual potluck competition, where the Baptist or the Methodist put on the biggest feed this year. Tasty news like that. Back then, I could go fishing every day. A nice life for an underpaid newsman. Sure, sometimes we had a shootout here and there, or a bank robbery, or a couple family feuds ended in blood. But Austin wanted more. Shop owners wanted more customers. Preachers wanted more churchgoers, even in inclement weather. Speculators wanted more landowners. The mayor wanted more taxpayers. When did it all change? I'll tell you. Christmas 1871, when Austin got a Christmas present. What was the big Christmas present that changed everything? What everyone had been waiting decades for, the train. Look around. From babies to grandmothers, everyone is here. Even former Texas First Lady, Miss Lucadia Pease, is here.
Our first train. We are becoming a real city. Because we have more people now, Bremen's Dry Goods is selling groceries. We even had our first baseball game. Schultz Hall on San Jacinto is offering variety shows. The Shakespeare Club presented The Merchant of Venice. Newcomer Alexander Wooldridge plays Shylock. Don't miss it.
Didn't miss it. Just between us, Mrs. Pease, Woolridge was terrible. I reviewed it. But despite his overacting, they did raise $200 for the library fund.
200? That's good. My husband, the former governor, says that because of the train, lots on Congress are going for $600 each. But let's not talk politics. It's Christmas. We are here to celebrate Jesus' birth and the arrival of the train.
It is now 5 years later, 1876. Alexander Sweet is about to meet with a true Texas hero, Milton M. Holland. Before the Civil War, both Milton and his brother William were the property of their father's brother. The two boys, born to their enslaved mother, Matilda, were considered Black. Their father, Bird Holland, was white. Bird Holland purchased the boys' freedom from his brother and sent them to Ohio to be educated. In Ohio, Milton Holland volunteered for the Black Brigade. At the Battle of New Market Heights, all of his officers were killed or wounded. Milton was wounded himself, but he fought on. He took command and led his troops to victory. President Rutherford Hayes awarded Milton the United States Medal of Honor. He was one of the first Black men to receive it. Milton is expected to return to Austin on today's train.
There should be a parade. There should be a band with a crowd cheering and cannon shots, the whole shebang. But it's quiet. I'm almost alone here. I'm here to interview a true Texas hero, Milton M. Holland. I need a big story like this to get myself promoted to city desk. I can see the headline, "Hero Comes Home." Here comes Milton's brother, our prominent legislator, William H. Holland.
Hey, Alex. I know what y'all are doing here. You're waiting for my brother Milton. This train was due here an hour ago. He's famous now, little Milty is, with his whole Medal of Honor business. Everybody wants a piece of him. I wish I could drum up this much excitement for the bill I have before the legislator. I'm trying to get them to fund a college for colored folk over at Prairie View, a teacher's college. I fear our young people won't be allowed to matriculate at the big fancy university they're building here in Austin, even though Reverend Fontaine, a Black preacher, helped get support to build it. They probably wouldn't even let Milty in anyways, even wearing his shiny new medal, although he looks as white as the governor himself. And better looking too, thanks to our mama Matilda. She was enslaved. I mean, one of the finest, smartest Texas ladies who was not allowed to get an education. I mean, I am going to change that if it's the last thing I do. Prairie View Normal School for Colored Teachers. I know what you news hounds want, an interview with our local hero, Milton Holland. I'm sorry, Alex. I promised Milty there wouldn't be any publicity. No welcoming parties, none of that. Modest he is, but rambunctious for a little guy. I mean, 5'7", 5'8" if he stands on his tippy toes, which he did when we were being measured up for the infantry. But if you get him into a fight, he will beat the feathers out of you. I mean, he's walloped me plenty of times. This way, Alex. Milty is coming to Austin to help me put a proper marker on Bird Holland's grave in Oakwood Cemetery. That's it. So keep it under your hat, newsman. I can see the train coming. Alex, if you got to write about anything, write about Prairie View. If I get the votes I need, the college will stand long after people here have forgotten all about Milton Holland. But I hope that they will never forget about why we fought that bloody war and why it was so important.
Now, before we dive into 1883, let's take a moment to hear from Visit Austin's Visitor Services Manager and Tour Ambassador, Harrison Epwright.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all are getting a kick out of looking back on what it might have been like for early Austinites greeting the first train on Christmas Day some 49 years ago. I know I am. I am Harrison Epwright, and I have been lucky enough to be the principal tour guide for Visit Austin for most of the last 27 years. How many of you knew that one of the first Black citizens in the United States to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor, Milton Holland, had deep ties to Austin? His father, Bird Holland, and brother, William Holland, are buried in Austin's original Oakwood Cemetery. What we are watching is all part of the rich, exciting, and often hidden history contained in our very own Austin History Center. I cannot tell you how many times I have done research at the Austin History Center to strengthen my tours and knowledge of Austin. In fact, this history is hidden in plain sight. And I'm going to steal a moment here to tell you one of those wonderful stories. This is a picture of the St. John's Colored Orphanage, which once existed up where Highland Mall was located. And this particular building was designed by John Andrewartha, one of the early architects of Austin, and he was from Wales, as a matter of fact. The choir of the St. John's Orphanage performed regularly, and one night they were giving a concert at the Texas State Capitol building when the concert was interrupted by none other than the Ku Klux Klan. This was in the year 1923. That's a very interesting story that I would love to talk about. I think that it eventually led to the fact that the Texas legislature passed an Anti-Mask Act in 1925, stating that no adult person could appear in public with his or her face covered, and that was specifically aimed at the Ku Klux Klan. Just one of the interesting facts that I've learned from using the facilities of the Austin History Center. Let's get back to All Aboard and see what is happening down on Pine Street.
Another 7 years go by and Texas is progressing. The train is here, and Austin is flourishing as a trading center for farmers and ranchers, but women still can't vote, and the streets still aren't paved.
12 years a reporter, and I'm still covering the train. This time, we are all waiting for actress Lily Langtry, the most beautiful woman in the world, according to the European newspapers. Oran Roberts, our tight-fisted governor, is not one to miss an opportunity to campaign.
On my watch, we have had the best year since that Frenchman LaSalle accidentally stumbled into Texas. That was year 1665. He didn't find gold, but he found Texas, which was even better. And because of the train, we got people coming every day. And more people means more commerce, more buildings, and yes, more taxpayers. In other words, more gold. In Texas, land is gold. But our farmland is selling for $3 an acre. So our cotton farmers increase production. They're storing it in the cotton exchange right here in Brush Square, waiting the next freight train. And soon, we're gonna have a brand new granite capital. Houses are being built with bricks from Michael Butler's brickyard, using clay they're digging up from across the river, right here from Barton Creek. Michael showed me the floor plan of the castle he's been building. All rooms are circles, triangles, and octagons. No squares or rectangles, no boxes in my house, Michael said.
Michael Butler, like many Texans, is an out-of-the-box thinker.
And because of the train, St. Mary's Catholic Church, which laid a cornerstone for this magnificent church years ago, will finally be finished. Seems like the whole country is coming to Texas. Councilman Joseph Nall says we're going to be needing a streetcar line. And you know, if Nall says we need it, he'll get it for us.
You can bet your boots on that.
Austin is becoming the Empire City of the Southwest, just like President Lamar predicted. And why not? New people, new ideas. While newcomer VC Weeds is opening up a roller skating rink. We even got ourselves an ice cream parlor. And today, the train is bringing us another treat. World-renowned actress Lily Langtry. Boy, waiting for that train is teaching us a fine lesson. Patience. As a virtue, I believe it's right next to godliness. Well, speaking of godliness, let's hear from Pastor Fontaine, a local businessman and founder of several churches.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, as many of you already know, my lovely wife, Viney, is employed by Mrs. Pease to supervise a kitchen. Many of you have visited Woodlawn to admire her garden. When folks ask her why her flowers bloom more profusely than in other gardens, Mrs. Pease said it's because of me. Me. She said that she had seen me offering a blessing when I visited her garden. Is this true? Have any of you ever tried arguing with Lucadia Pease? I think of gardens when I plant my churches. At the present time, there are 4 Baptist churches in full bloom and 1 beginning to take root. At Mrs. Pease's suggestion, the governor ordered some Mountain Blue Galilee seeds from Jerusalem. Now, I read that blue Galilee flowers burst forth in a sea of blue, carpeting the slopes of the Holy Land, like our bluebonnets do here. I imagine that I see little boy Jesus picking a blue-bonneted stock to give to his mother. When you see Lucadia Pease, be sure to ask her for some blue Galilee seeds. They multiply nicely in our Texas climate. And do not neglect to give a blessing to those seeds when you plant them. As you sow, so shall you reap. Blessings, one and all. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Fontaine. Well, no train yet. Ha. Who'd like to speak next? How about you, Captain Millett? Why don't you tell us about your new opera house?
Gladly, Your Honor. Because the railroad opened the world to us, I am able to bring first-class entertainment to Austin. My new theater is nothing like the old opera houses. Remember the first one?
I do. It was right above City Hall.
Which was also the meat market. Theater patrons got sick from smelling rotting meat.
The next opera house was over long stables.
A slight improvement to the nostrils there. My new theater is first class. 800 seats, surrounding balconies, box seats for dignitaries. That's you, Your Honor. In my new opera house, the best of the world's talent come. Even divas from Europe like Miss Langtree.
How did you persuade Miss Langtree to come to Austin?
Before we had the train, opera singers refused me. They said riding in bumpy stagecoaches ruined their voices. In addition, the threat of stagecoach robbers scared them plenty. For a long time, Miss Langtree refused, even after I assured her that she'd be accompanied through Texas by armed guards. Now she travels in a private luxury Pullman car. When I mentioned that Texas has a town named for her, that's when she finally agreed to come.
I mean, is Langtree, Texas really named after her like they say?
Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Judge Roy Bean believed it, and that is enough for me. Either way, the fabulous Lily Langtree will perform in Millett Opera House tomorrow night. I hope to see y'all there.
Well, we just received a telegram saying the train is again delayed. So, who'd like to speak? Well, I call on our new city marshal, Ben Thompson.
Governor Roberts, Your Honor, I'm not in the habit of speech making, so please excuse my lack of eloquence. Ladies and gentlemen, before I came home to be your marshal, I was up in Kansas. Now those guys think a Texan is top half hairy gorilla, bottom half alligator, who eats raw armadillo meat with a dozen 6-shooters in his belt. Well, for me, 2 irons is all I need for Austin. When I was young, there was nothing here but a sawmill and vagrant hogs and inebriated cowboys and saloons, lots of saloons. Now, please don't confuse my saloon with one of those rot gut bottled in the barn coffin varnish outfits. The Iron Front Saloon is a law-abiding business, a high-class place. I demand it. Before I came, Austin had no industry, unless you call professional gambling an industry, or the brothels. Before I arrived, there were 20 brothels and professional burglars, horse thieves, land grabbers, bandits, terrible lawlessness, and drunkards. Some so drunk they couldn't lie down on the pavement without holding on. If Austin continued like that, this town was headed straight to hell. No more! Now that you've got the train and me, Ben Thompson, as your marshal, all that lawlessness is gone. That's all I have to say.
The beautiful Miss Langtry was a favorite of Queen Victoria's son, the Prince of Wales. Instead of Your Highness, she called him Bertie Wertie, right in public. She drew crowds wherever she went. Everyone wanted to see what the intimate friend of Bertie Wertie, the future King of England, looked like in person. This lady had extravagant tastes, but lack of means. After she bankrupted her husband, one of her very wealthy admirers, Ferdinand Rothschild, gave her a precious emerald ring. In a fit of temper, Lily threw the ring into the fireplace. Who crawled in the fireplace to retrieve it? Mr. Rothschild himself. And he still loved her, or so they say. It seems all men found her irresistibly attractive, even Oscar Wilde. Both risk takers and rule breakers, Lily and Oscar became close friends. He was so enamored with her that he sometimes spent the night sleeping on her doorstep. One time, Miss Langtry arrived home late and stumbled over him. Reportedly, their injuries were minor.
Miss Langtry, the most beautiful woman in the world. All of Europe fell for her. What a woman. I must get an interview. Yes, my grumpy editor will like this.
Hey, newspaper man, you sleeping on the job?
No, Marshal, I'm just contemplating your fine speech. If old Pegleg Ward was alive today, he would say so himself.
The other speakers, braggarts mostly, and liars.
Tell me, Ben, how did you come to be our town marshal?
Oh, the railroad fellows recommended me. Up in Dodge, the Santa Fe Railroad had a disagreement with the Rio Grande Railroad, and they hired me and my friend Bat Masterson to settle it. Bat and I, we settled it all right. When Kansas got too hot for me, Bat said, steal the first horse you can and get out of Kansas. My friend, Wyatt Earp, like me, he wasn't a choir boy before he was a lawman, so he understood my predicament. He said, go to Texas. If they get you with a murder rap, they're gonna slap you with a fine, pat you on the shoulder, and tell you the other guy had it coming.
Is that why you came back to Texas?
I found it was my mission to clean up my home state, starting with Austin. I guess you could say I'm somewhat of a missionary.
I read in the Democrat Statesman that Wyatt Earp disarmed the most notorious gunman in Texas. Could that be you?
Wyatt, he didn't disarm me. I let him hold my gun to admire it.
Well, you certainly have quite a reputation as a gunslinger.
Oh, you're talking about that shootout up in Ellsworth, Kansas? That was an accident. My brother Billy accidentally shot Sheriff Whitney. I arrived after the accident.
It is said that you threatened to kill the whole town of Ellsworth. It is also said that you held the town at bay for an hour while your brother escaped.
The mayor is an honorable man. We negotiated. The fact that I had my rifle pointed at him the whole time facilitated the negotiation. Whew, I missed that Henry rifle. I left it as security somewhere for a $75 loan. A dumb thing to do.
Do you find it hard to appear fearless?
Not at all, Alex. Colonel Ward, he said, "To Texas, cowards don't come." Old Pegleg was a fearless son of a gun, too.
I miss old Pegleg Ward. Fearless. That he was.
He was also a drunk that fired off cannons just to calm his mind.
After he lost both his arm and his leg in separate cannon incidents, he shot off another cannon just to celebrate Sam Houston's re-election.
If Pegleg had practiced temperance instead of bad temper, we could have buried him with arm and leg still attached.
Crime dropped dramatically after you became our marshal, Ben. How'd you do that?
Fear, Alex. Fear is a powerful weapon. Hey, let's wait for the train over at Pete Burns' place. Pete owes me a whiskey and other fruits of civilization.
Thompson, fruits of civilization must wait. Here comes the train. Here's the fabulous Lily Langtry herself. What a beauty.
Reverend Fontaine, preacher. Many blessings, young lady.
With this lineup, not counting me, of course, she can have anything she chooses. Riches, theatrical fame.
Captain Millett, businessman and impresario. At your service, milady.
Political power.
Oran Roberts, current governor of Texas. Welcome to Austin, Miss Langtry.
Or Texas gold, our land. I hear she likes horses. Her own ranch, perhaps. Anything she desires. Alexander Sweet, reporter for the Democrat Statesman. Oh, hello, Mrs. Pease.
If the gentlemen don't mind, Alex, I think I'll stand by, just in case Miss Langtry needs a chaperone.
The fearless Marshal Ben Thompson, notorious Austin peacekeeper, charmed, absolutely charmed to make your acquaintance.
As my dear friend Oscar Wilde says, women have a better time than men in this world. Of course, Oscar. There's far more forbidden to us. Mrs. Governor, shall we?
For the first 30 years, Austin only had rutted trails traveled by horses and ox-drawn wagons. The train became our link to the world. Our people and commerce flowed through the arteries of these United States of America. From that moment on, we have never looked back. hope you've enjoyed our visit to the late 1800s in our wonderful city. And now back to our host, Ron Oliveira.
Everyone, the program is almost over, but not quite over. So please remain in your seats and linked in so that we can introduce you to our great local professional performers as we acknowledge the cast and artistic team behind our play. And we have another great treat for you. Ray Benson, leader of the nationally beloved Asleep at the Wheel, will provide our final word. Now, what a wonderful play we just witnessed. It brought to life part of the Austin story from 150 years ago. So we want to thank all those great actors. Ken Webster as Alexander Sweet, reporter for Democrat Statesman, 1841 to 1901. Marc Pouhe as Reverend Jacob Fontaine, businessman and preacher. Will Cleveland as Marshal Ben Thompson, criminal and lawman, 1843 to 1884. Lara Wright as Lucadia, Pease, Texas's First Lady. Ted Lee Eubanks as historian, nationally recognized for history interpretation. Rick Romer as governor of Texas, Oran Roberts, politician. Michael Ferstenfeld as Captain C.F. Millett, businessman, councilman, impresario. Matrix Kilgore as William Holland, teacher, soldier, legislator. Amber Quick as Lily Langtry, actress, 1853 to 1929. We are all so lucky to have great local actors in Austin. This wonderful play would not exist without the work and talent of our artistic team. The team at Austin Playhouse, building a new theater for Austin, led by artistic director Lara Toner Haddock, Austin Playhouse. And noted Austin playwright and creator of Act Two, All Aboard, playwright Paulette McDougall. The production crew at Make Every Media, Michael Ferstenfeld, Seth Cleveland, Tyler Parks, Amber Quick, and Eric Mauk. And the beautiful costume designs of Jennifer Rose Davis. What an incredible pool of talent that Austin provides. At this time, let's offer a final salute to the chair of the 2021 Eberly event, Rita Kreisel. Thank you, Rita, for your tremendous leadership, and your committee, too, for all of your hard work organizing and executing this virtual event. Bravo to all.